And now it's October. Oh boy. After the dust cleared, following the Hamaguri rebellion, the shogun set about cleaning house. The Choshu expedition was launched by the shogun once the Choshu domain were declared enemies of the court. Perhaps feeling they dodged a bullet, the Choshu domain fell silent for a time. Their obedience was short-lived, however, and before long their disrespect for the shogun became impossible to ignore. In order to investigate further, the shogunate decided to send an envoy to the Choshu domain. Okay, this is the thing with Kondo. So, there's signs of weakening happening. Accompanying Saito, we're gonna meet Sen. Okay. Best wing girl. Gotta get her back in the story. And bop on you from the bean. You got bean bopped. She figures out we're a lady because she's a clever girl. And she runs off, and then what happens after this? Oh. Well, I guess we can do this because Shin does show up.
Ah, I see. You're amazing.
This young man is Kazue Soma. He joined the Shinsengumi just before summer began. He's very serious and respectful. Coincidentally, he had met the Shinsengumi around the time I'd first arrived in Kyoto, and he crossed paths with them during one of their rounds. Shortly after, Kondo had crossed paths with Soma when he visited Choshu with the envoy, and Kondo invited Soma to join the Shinsengumi. Now, he currently works as Kondo's page. I really respect how much effort he puts into his work, and he keeps spirits high. Good job, Soma.
Then maybe we could water it down?
But if you do that, then the tea's flavor will become lighter.
Uh-oh. Hey, Soma, what are we supposed to do then? Why don't we cool it down with the well water? Oh, that's a good idea. Let's give it a try.
This energetic lad is Risaburo Nomura. He joined the Shinsengumi around the same time as Soma, and because of their closeness in age, Nomura became Kondo's page in training. For him, he was a huge fan of the Shinsengumi, and he joined them because of it. That left me to make sure that I teach them about all of the duties and responsibilities that go into becoming a page, which was harder than I thought. The tea doesn't have to be room temperature, just a little cooler to offset the hot weather. So first, prepare some warm water rather than boiling hot, then try brewing it. That way it doesn't dilute the tea's flavor.
Whoa! Wow, okay, I see. Wow, you sure do know a lot about this stuff. I agree. It's very educational.
Thanks. Well, as for the tea, I'll pour some and take it to them, so you two...
What do you want us to do? We'll do anything! Yes, indeed. Let us know. Alright, guys. You two are going to do some sword training with me. What's the matter? You don't want to do it? No! Please train us. Well, as for me, I have some work to do. Hey, you're a newbie. Don't be shy now. Nomura, come on now. This training is what will make us great warriors. That's not training, that's pure hazing. Well, I'll be taking them off your hands for the moment.
Oh, okay. Please, take care of them. Don't be too hard on them, Shin. Soma gulped deeply and he looked nervous. Nomura, on the other hand, looked ready to cry as Nagakura dragged both of them off to training. I wish the two of them the best of luck. Gonna need it with that boy. Alright. Gonna talk to Kondo about the notice board. And then we gotta decide on that particular subject later. Okay, so admission time. I've been getting worried the last few options. What exactly I'm supposed to do for like these general ones? Like not the ones where it's like, okay, this is a butterfly on moon moment with this guy. Which option's the best one? Like those ones I'm pretty confident with. But getting to those scenes, I'm a little like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. It's getting more and more dicey with each guy that we do. So I looked up the options I need for like the general ones like this, and in the beginning when it's like, do you explain yourself? Do you try to run away? What's other ones? Like, do you help Hijikata? Do you not help Hijikata? Like there's a few of those in the common route, so to speak, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I've looked up just the general ones, nothing that has to do with the romance. I was able to find out about just how to find each boy's scene, so I can get like the maximum amount of scenes with each guy. So for these ones, I'm cheating. I'm technically cheating, but I don't want to miss stuff. But I thought I'd let you guys know, because there's no way I'm gonna guess correctly. I'm just gonna be picking options and like, was there something, and going back and seeing things maybe I'm not supposed to see yet. So blurg. Okay, so this is the first one. Okay, so I actually need to think about Sen, and I wouldn't have thought about thinking of Sen with Shin, so I'm glad I actually looked that up. I picked a good time to start questioning myself, I guess. Okay, so we'll think of Sen and see where that goes from there. I don't know where this will lead. We've never done this before. Should be interesting. I was thinking about the woman who I'd met. While in the city of Kyoto, a chance encounter brought me to meet this young woman, Sen. Sen was full of energy and always showed me great kindness. She took one look at me and saw through my disguise, but even still, she didn't pry too much into my affairs or ask about the Shinsengumi. Perhaps she was just being considerate. Since I had been living at the compounds for so long, it had felt like ages since I'd made a female acquaintance. Now that I think of it, I guess I could say that I know Nagamo now as well. Nagamo? Oh, is that our brother? Yeah, that is our brother. People had told me that I looked like Nagamo, but if I were to dress like a woman again, I had no confidence that I'd look anywhere near as gorgeous as she does. All the girls I've met all looked like they're about the same age as me, but they were all dressed as real girls. I couldn't help but feel a little envious about how beautiful they were. I wondered if the day would ever come where I could be the girl I used to be. Some interesting thoughts from Chizuru there. Okay, well, Nagakura's here. This is a good sign. A few days later, I'd been accompanying Nagakura on his rounds to search for my father. However, on this day, I couldn't help myself from looking at all the other girls my age. I mean, although my outer appearance wasn't the best tip-off, I was still a girl, so all the lovely kimonos and accessories I saw caught my eye. I think living exclusively with men for a prolonged period starved me of conversation with real women. Technically, since I'd arrived in Kyoto, the only girlfriends I'd made were Nagamo or Sen. Trust me, you don't want to be girlfriends with Nagamo.
Hello? Are you listening?
Oh, Nagakura? Sorry, what was it?
Well, it's not a big deal. There's been a real funky vibe going on lately. Probably because of Ito and Miki, I think. Every day they run their little mouths. Don't they just piss you off?
I suppose. Nagakura seemed to be in the middle of a venting session, so I had kind of tuned out. Sorry, boo. But I felt bad that I didn't hear what he said at first, so I focused now on what he was saying.
I wonder why Kondo decided to let them join. It makes sense, wanting to get more members and all. But things ain't the way they used to be, you know? I feel like he's kind of rushing it with these guys. Before, the Shinsengumi were a bunch of guys who really supported the shogunate.
I think this is still him. I don't think I can see Chizuru saying, actin'.
But then you got Ito acting like a big shot and all, even though he's an imperialist. I'm kinda rambling, but I guess all I'm getting at is I want Kondo to show us more respect, yeah? Oh.
You seem to be wanting to hear my take on it. Yeah, I think we should be, empathetic in this case. I think I understand what you mean. To be honest, when it came to politics and what people's principles were, I didn't have answers. But as best as I could, I kind of felt like I could understand where Nagakura stood. I mean, even for myself, I felt if the Shinsengumi relaxed some of their regulations, I'd be happier. That way I'd be able to hang out with people my own age and talk to girls who go through what I'm going through. Well, not exactly. But I didn't feel like venting my own frustrations to Nagakura, although I agreed with what he said. I guess. I think I understand what you mean. Yeah, alright.
Yeah? Really? You do?
Yes! After all, only the true friends, people you feel yourself around, are the ones who last. I feel like you should look after your friends in whom you can confide. They're people who help you lessen the burden of life.
Yes! Yes! Exactly! Gosh, it's just so nice to have friends you're comfortable with.
Yes, I agree. I smiled and nodded towards Nagakura, who seemed to be pleased. Oh, if only you two lovebirds knew that you're actually lovebirds and not friends anymore.
Sorry for dumping all of this on you.
Oh no, please, don't apologize. I was feeling a similar way, to be honest. Nagakura timidly asked.
Wait, do you also have a problem with Ito?
No!
Oh yeah, huh. Well, whenever you gotta get stuff off your chest, I'm your guy.
Sounds good.
Oh, and, could you keep what I said about Ito between you and me?
Of course. This conversation is between us.
Sweet. I feel a lot better after talking to you.
Thanks, Boo. I enjoy our sessions. True, my own worries weren't totally assuaged, but Nagakura had snapped back into his normal stride and bright attitude. I hadn't seen him act this way around anyone other than Harada or Heisuke. Thinking about it made me really happy. It made me feel like I was part of them. I blushed from the thought.
Alright, time to kick into high gear for this round.
Me too. I'll work hard to find some clues. Nagakura's energy was so contagious that I too felt motivated to answer just as energetically. Although I figured it'd be a while until I could sit and talk to a girl my age. I still had a lot of people in whom I could confide, people who cared about my well-being. I ran after Nagakura's back as he upped his brisk pace. You guys are adorable. So cute. As we'd continued our rounds through the city, something happened elsewhere at the same time. The Shinsengumi had received official orders from the shogunate to guard the notice board that was vandalized by the Sanjo Ohashi Bridge. Harada, who was guarding the notice board on the night of, had arrested the culprits. However, there supposedly was a woman who'd caused trouble for him. According to Harada, that person looked just like me, but thanks to the numerous men who'd vouched for me, corroborating the story that I'd been elsewhere, no one actually suspected me, but still. The thought of someone else out there who shared my appearance left me disturbed. Ominous crow. Ka is ominous. But now it's January. So we're just gonna go past that. Okay, so we didn't go to Shimabara. Interesting. Okay, good to know. December 1866. Ah, it's potato time. We'll skip through that. Ring, 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 potato time. Alright, and then the emperor died. Are we on to chapter 4 already? Holy frijole. It's time to say goodbye. Time to say goodbye. That always makes me sad. Alright, where are we at in April? Gotta go chase down my look-alike. And poor Soji's sick. My poor boy. How many boys now are we down? And I'm still, like, really sad. Every time I see him coughing, I'm like, oh. My poor boy. Okay. So we're accusing you. Then getting told off, and then we're gonna get attacked. That's right. Fury time. Alright. Well, Shin does come to the rescue, so we better do this. That night, after everyone else had gone to bed, I lay awake thinking about what had happened. I couldn't forget what Okita had said. A useless kid. He was right. Compared to the captain's... no. Even compared to the weakest Shinsengumi foot soldier, I was pathetic. I had been lying there, staring at the ceiling. My actions today were no doubt reckless. I mean, had this happened a little while ago, I'm sure I would have been killed, no questions asked. The fact that I got away with just a lecture shows that they're starting to trust me a little more, but I couldn't go on like this. Tomorrow I start working harder. But no sooner had I closed my eyes... What? There was a crash from the hallway outside my room. I rolled up and out of my bed just as the door exploded into my room. Standing in the hole was one of the Shinsengumi soldiers. Is something wrong? I called out to him, despite being incredibly alert and guarded, but the soldier remained quiet. Did you need something?
Blood.
Huh? I squinted to get a clearer picture. Just then, his hair instantly turned white.
Blood. I need blood.
His eyes were ominously red, and he looked directly at me. He was one of the Furies! Give me blood! To top it off, he was completely mad. Just like the warrior I saw that one night in Kyoto. I had to call for help. I couldn't possibly face a deranged superhuman monster on my own. I inhaled, preparing to call for help. No, I couldn't call for help. If I did, then I could risk jeopardizing the Shinsengumi secret about the Furies. That would spell disaster for the Shinsengumi. I had to find another way. The Fury, unfortunately, was not similarly encumbered by doubts. Ah! His sword hissed through the air, and I felt the metal of its blade burn into the flesh of my arm. Gah! A sharp pain seared into thought from my wound. The Fury saw my blood dripping, and his eyes became even more mad. Well, we're in trouble again. Blood sprang from the cut. I pressed down on it desperately with my free hand, but to no avail. Thick red liquid spilled between my fingers, fled down my arm and onto the floor. Yes. Blood. Give me blood. The Fury became increasingly erratic, and he started licking the blood-stained sword. He began to creep toward me, his movements odd and jerky, like a massive spider. Oh no! My back slammed against the wall. I'm going to die. Just when I prepared myself for death, I suddenly remembered Okita's words from earlier that day. Stop being so timid. You can rely on us when you need to. Okita, everyone! Someone! Help! Blood! Blood! He was down on his hands and knees, licking my spilt blood off the floor. There was no samurai there. It seemed what little humanity he had left him entirely. I used this distraction to gain distance from him. Please, I beg to any god who might be listening, let someone come. Not enough. Not enough! He looked up from the floor. My sleeve was soaked in blood from the cut on my arm. His eyes locked onto it, and I saw them light up with animalistic hunger. His grin was a nightmarish thing. Yes, that! Give me more of your blood! He kicked the floor roughly and came charging at me. No! There was no doubt he was going to kill me. I froze.
Get down! Don't look up until I tell you to!
I heard a voice from nearby, and I immediately followed the orders and ducked. Gah! The Fury seemed to be shocked to see Hijikata coming out of nowhere. The Fury spun to attack Hijikata, but the commander's sword was faster. Ah! His twisted cry reverberated from the room's walls. Gah! He writhed in agony, but his wound started to heal immediately.
Get over here, now!
Yes! As I ran to his side, I heard other footsteps pounding down the hallways. There's my boys.
You alright, Chizuru?
Hey! Isn't he?
He's the warrior who had to drink the water of life the other day. He's too far gone. We can't let him live.
At some unspoken signal, a chorus of blades slid from their scabbards. Shin! Sano! Don't screw this up!
Who the hell do you think we are, Heisuke? If a captain can't take out a simple soldier, even if he is a fury, he'd have to resign. Assuming he wasn't dead.
They fanned quickly, circling the wounded soldier. There was no escape.
No hard feelings.
And that was that. Ah! The captains all attacked at once, and the Fury was killed almost instantly. The excitement was over. Or so I thought. But it hadn't been only the captains who'd heard my cry for help. How about that death-curdling scream at the end?
Oh, who's causing such a ruckus at this hour of night?
Ito! Ito rubbed his still sleepy eyes, stepped into the room, and froze.
What's going on here?
Damn it.
I've seen that soldier before. I thought he was sentenced to death the other day for breaking the code. And look at all of this blood! Are you guys responsible for this?
Ito, it's not like that. This is...
What is it not like? Why have our captains cut down one of their own men? Explain this at once. What happened here?
Ito was fuming and screaming.
My apologies. My lack of discipline is at fault here.
Sanan? Seeing Sanan, Ito's eyes grew wide.
Sanan? What are you doing here? You're supposed to be dead.
The captains fell silent. Eventually.
I guess we can't keep it a secret any longer. Yukimura, you step out. You can use my room for the night.
I know me being here won't do anything, but I wonder if they'll be alright. Would they be able to explain the situation enough to Ito so that he wouldn't freak out? There was so much to worry about, but Hijikata looked at me sternly.
Did you not hear me? I said get out.
Okay. I was worried, but I knew there was nothing else I could do, so I left the room. Alright, so that's that. Alright, so let's skip until we have to make our choice. I think it's the same as Harada. It should be. Because we talked about Harada and Shin last time. I don't think you ever get points with anybody here, but you do get the interaction, so I do want to make sure I get that. I have it written down just in case, but I'm pretty sure it's the same options I picked with Harada. Alright, so it is, let's see, the soldiers. And so we want to talk to, I wonder who the someone who knows Ito one is going to be for. That'll be interesting. Close to the people who were leaving, I believe. Yes. Okay. Perhaps it would be best for me to talk to someone who was close to Heisuke and Saito. I'd only known them since I'd come to Kyoto, and their departure was making me miserable. The rest of the Shinsengumi had known them for much longer. How were those closest to them feeling? There they are. As I was trying to think of who to talk to first, Nagakura and Harada walked out of the common room.
Hey, sorry you had to go through all that last night, Chizuru. You're feeling well enough to be up, huh?
Yes, I'm alright.
So how's your injury? It was pretty deep, no?
Well, it wasn't as deep as it originally seemed. I'm sure it'll heal soon.
Well, that's good to know. I don't think any of us could go on living with ourselves knowing we seriously injured a woman.
The genuine concern on their faces warmed my heart. They were good men. All of the captains were good men, which only made it that much more heartbreaking that some of them were leaving us.
So we have to kill one of our own guys. And if Ito finds out about the core, I gotta say, I've had better nights.
About Ito. How do you guys feel about Heisuke and Saito? About them leaving, I mean.
Oh, that. For starters, I didn't expect Heisuke to be so insensitive about everything. Heisuke didn't tell us shit. I'm gonna kill that little bastard. Well, I'm sure he's not just doing it on a whim. If this was his decision, there's not really a whole lot we can do about it, is there? There's no point in us bitching. You sure as hell don't have any tolerance. By the way, how do you feel about Kondo these days, Chizuru?
Kondo? What do you mean? Kondo didn't seem any different to me than he had the first day I'd met him.
You don't think he's gotten a little arrogant lately? I don't know if it's because he started to hang with the big guns on the shogunate side. And he was too easy on Ito and his buddies. Why do you think they're so high and mighty now?
Do you disagree with the chief and the commander?
No, not exactly. Anyway, I'm glad to see Ito out of here. He pissed me off. Still, I'm pretty sure it's just a matter of time before we end up crossing swords with him. Ito and his cronies, I mean.
Huh? Harada's words struck me as unpleasantly presentient, although I didn't know why. Crossing swords? But why?
There's no knowing where Ito will go running to find financial backing for his troop as of now. But if they want their ties with the Imperial Nationalist Party, then the title of former Shinsengumi men is only going to be a hindrance.
What will you do if we do have to fight them?
Well, if they're our enemies, then I'll have to kill them. That's the duty of the Shinsengumi. Is probably what Hijikata would say.
Nagakura scratched his head out of frustration.
Honestly, though, if we do have to fight them eventually... Yeah, we can't treat them like any other rogue Ronin. I really don't know if I could do it.
Right. Their voices had faded to little more than a murmur. I couldn't ask any more. It was too sad. My wound healed completely soon afterward, but I kept the bandages on. I didn't want anyone to see that my scar had healed. Since Ito, Heisuke, and Saito all left, the compounds felt so much larger and emptier. Around the same time, Takeda, one of the captains of the Shinsengumi, had also left. I guess these are things we can't help, but it felt as if everyone was going in different directions, off to forge their own paths. I couldn't help but feel sad about it. Yeah. Well, you know, something that occurs to me is it's a new chapter and we haven't checked our affection meter. We should probably do that when we get a moment. Let me do that real quick. Okay, hold on, May. I'll be right with you. Ooh! Nice! Alright. May. A month had passed since Ito's exodus, and the Shinsengumi were still adjusting. I wanted to clean the compound, so I picked up a broom and headed outside. I saw Harada and Nagakora talking with one another, and they noticed me. Oh, this is new.
Hey, Chizuru! You going off to clean? Man, you're working hard.
Well, yes, I am. It's my job. I hope your day is going well. I smiled as I answered, but when I noticed how stern they looked, my face fell.
How's Soji? You were checking up on him, right, Chizuru?
Yes. He doesn't seem to be feeling too good today.
He doesn't eat, and when he does, he's pickier than a spoiled kid, and he's got the attention span of a puppy. That's why it takes him forever to recover.
Well, he is Murder Puppy.
Yeah, well, you eat too much. You'll put anything in your mouth that isn't rotting, and you've got so much grit you might as well be gravel. Hey! You say all that like it's a bad thing.
I wonder.
Anyway, still seems kinda strange that Okita's out with a cold for this long, even for him.
Nagakora fell silent and gazed up at the red sky.
I wonder how Saito and Heisuke are doing. You know how all Ito's other guys are just a bunch of ass-kissers? Just can't see those two hitting it off very well with guys like that.
You may have a point.
If they ever decide they want to come back, I'd be happy to talk to Kondo about it.
Something in his voice sounded very sad. Every so often, I would find myself consumed with sadness at the departure of Heisuke and Saito. But for Nagakora and the others, who had known them far longer than I had, that feeling was undoubtedly felt much more deeply.
Shinpachi, you've been filling in for Soji, right? Taking care of the First Division and training the new recruits? Are you doing alright? Seems like a heavy load. Of course it is. I can only be in one place, but Kondo and Hijikata are sure as hell trying to tear me in half.
His tone said he was trying to play it off as nothing. A joke. But in his eyes filled with tears, I could see that it wasn't.
But when Soji feels better and Saito and Heisuke come back, I don't want everything to be a mess, you know?
There was a note of almost forlorn hope in his voice. Aw. Poor Shin, trying to be hopeful. What if Okita didn't improve? What if Saito and Heisuke never returned? Nagakora knew those were possibilities, I was sure, so perhaps this was his way of staving off the fear that threatened to overwhelm him.
Huh, gotcha! Nah, I'm just throwing all the busy work to Shimada. I'm doing fine. And once Soji gets better, I'm gonna make sure he works double shift to pay me back for covering his ass. As for Saito and Heisuke, it's not like there's no chance they'll come back. Anyway, it's almost time for me to go on round, so I'll see you chumps later. Bye!
Nagakora! But he was gone before I could stop him. He has to go cry. Poor guy.
Still can't lie to save his life. Then again, I guess I'm not one to talk.
I was gonna say. He watched Nagakora go with a crooked grin. I'd thought that night's patrol was Harada's, not Nagakora's. I guess he's feeling sad?
Of course he is. A couple of his best and oldest friends just left. Who wouldn't be sad?
No matter how much we worried, we could do nothing to speed Okita's healing, and Saito and Heisuke had chosen their own paths. Feeling sad would hardly change their minds.
I just hope he can lie well enough to convince himself.
What?
Well, look at Soji, or Saito and Heisuke. There's nothing we can do about any of that. But Shinpachi's not the kind of guy who's willing to just roll over like that, so this whole thing, it's gotta hurt.
I looked down at the ground. Was admitting defeat really our only choice? That seems so sad to me, though. I threw myself into my cleaning, hoping that hard work would help to wash away my grim mood. Much later, I was on my way back to my room to get ready for bed when I remembered I hadn't prepared the food for breakfast. I hurried back to the kitchen. Alright, there we go. With so much bad news fresh in our minds, I hoped eating something delicious would help our spirits. My preparations finished, I headed back toward my room. I was halfway there when... Oh, is he training? Huh? I heard the sound of someone grunting with effort and the soft hiss of a sword moving through the air. I scanned the dark courtyard until I spotted a shadow near the edge. Oh, under the cherry blossom tree. Was it an intruder? If so, I need to report. No, it was... New picture? Aw. Out, are you sweating or crying? Poor boy.
Damn it!
The silver line of his sword flickered through the moonlight beneath the soft pink cloud of cherry blossoms in the trees above him. It was picturesque, as though I'd wandered into a painting. Nagakora, however, was ignorant of its beauty. To him, there was only the sword. Every muscle of his body was pulled taut with strain. Strain of the body and strain of the heart. Whatever he was fighting, only he could see. As I watched him there, I felt pain like a knife in my heart. With each swing, I could see his own pain deepen. I stepped forward onto the path, and the crunch of gravel under my feet, unexpectedly loud, echoed through the silence of the night. Nagakora stopped and looked in my direction.
Chizuru? How long have you been there?
Not long, just a few seconds. I'm sorry, I'll be going. He tried to brush off something both of us knew I wouldn't soon forget.
Well, I can't skimp on training, you know? Get out of shape otherwise. So,
It was a weak lie, and we both saw through it. I'd seen the men train, and what Nagakora had been doing was not training. Is something wrong? Are you okay? I know I'm kind of butting in, but... Do you want to talk about it? Sometimes just telling somebody else what's wrong can help you feel a lot better. So, Nagakora wiped sweat from his forehead. When he spoke, his voice was flat and resigned.
I don't know if I'd say something's wrong, really. Just... I guess I realized some stuff.
What do you mean? He looked up at the moon and fell silent. We stood there for several long moments before he started to speak.
Look, I love a good sword fight. When you're up against someone who's better than you don't have room for other thoughts, right? All you can do is figure out how you're gonna outsmart him and get away with your life. It's just you and him. Nothing else matters. I think the first time I picked up a fencing stick I was 8, maybe 9. I've always been a fighter, so I dove in and got good pretty quick.
I nodded as he spoke. I knew how strong he was. I had heard from plenty of people that he was on par with Okita and Saito, or possibly even better. What? I need to see this in action one day. It was something of a hot topic among the rank and file, in fact.
Anyway, I started wandering around with my gear and tested my skills with anyone who'd let me. That's how I met Kondo and the other guys. I was pretty surprised, honestly. Kondo was a beast, but nobody'd heard of him. That blew my mind. I remember Hijikata saying that he wanted to get Kondo the kind of recognition a guy with that kind of skill deserved. And that wish... I guess we made it true to some extent. The thing I love about Kondo was even when he was poor, or when people tried to take advantage of him, and his wife told him to get rid of us.
I didn't know that Kondo was married! That's amazing!
He never did. We were a crazy bunch, but he refused to abandon us. and whenever anybody needed him, he was there with a smile. But now he's got the water of life, and he's making furies to get the edge on our foes, and he treats his men like pawns. That's not the guy I remember.
In my mind's eye, I could still see Nagakora, sword in hand, his mind funneled into the cold steel as it whispered through the night air. The things that he had believed in and fought for had changed beneath his feet. He couldn't decide if he should continue down this new changed path, or abandon it altogether, and that had thrown his heart into turmoil. Perhaps he had hoped that with his hands on his sword, where he felt they belonged, he could see his way to the truth.
Man, this isn't like me, huh? I know worrying about all this is pointless. How come I have to figure stuff out? Why can't I just go on being an ignorant, bullheaded, carefree idiot?
His face was twisted into a strange expression. I couldn't tell if he was about to laugh or cry. I save. I'm not sure what the context, which line am I going for? Like, am I saying I don't think you're an ignorant, just a silly guy who doesn't care about stuff? Is that what I'm saying? Or like, yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I just don't know what she's gonna say. I'm gonna go with this and hope that she means, like, that it's perfectly reasonable for him to feel this way. It's not crazy to have these thoughts. At least I'm hoping that's what it is. I did save so I can come back if I have to. Okay, good. It's like, this is good. This is what I was hoping for. I don't think it's unlike you at all. Everybody does stuff like this. You're not the only person who's questioned his path in life. You just need to take it one step at a time. You'll find the answer you need. And I think whatever answer you find will be the right one. Good. Proud of you, Chizuru. That was really good.
Chizuru?
Sorry, that was totally out of line.
What? No, not at all. I'm not mad or anything. The opposite, actually.
What?
I was just wondering when this girl, who was scared of her own shadow when I met her, got so tough.
Uh-huh.
I used to look out for you all the time because I couldn't handle things here. And now you're telling me how to handle my life.
Nagakora, He was trying to brush it off as a joke, but I could hear a note of self-derision in his voice. The only reason I'm the person I am now is because I had you and the other guys looking out for me. For the longest time, I felt like I was nothing but trouble, and all of you put up with me because you felt like you had to, and I was useless. But you were always so cheerful, and that helped me feel like maybe things weren't so bad. You talked to me like I belonged here, I guess. And you made sure to include me when you guys did stuff. So, thank you. You helped me through a really tough time. Aw, there's that blush.
Come on, you're making a big deal out of nothing. You're like a kid sister. Of course I'm gonna take care of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would blush around your kid sister, would you? I thought about that for a moment. Well, then isn't it perfectly natural for me to look out for my usually reliable but occasionally difficult big brother?
Point taken. I guess we're even then, right?
He let out a long breath, and some of the darkness that had settled around him drifted away with it. Yeah, I think so. That was something of a lie, of course. Nagakora had given me far more than I'd given him.
Big brother, huh? Yeah, I could get used to that. Although it seems a little low class for a man of my standing, you know? How about, like, honored elder brother?
I don't know about that.
Damn. Well, it was worth a shot.
He shrugged and looked around the yard, trying to act as though it was nothing. Oh boy. I blushed a little, hoping he couldn't see. I'd never had a brother, but it made him happy. But if it made him happy... Unfortunately, you do. Maybe I could. When I looked up again, he seemed to have made his decision.
Soji's bedridden, Saito and Heisuke are gone, and we're short on men. Just need to tough it out a little longer.
He sounded as though he was convincing himself that this was merely a temporary setback. I found myself wondering how long a man like Nagakura could continue to lie to himself. I didn't know what to say, though, and he just looked at me and grinned.
Sorry for talking about all this stuff. Don't you have to get up early tomorrow? You should be getting to bed.
What about you?
I think I'm gonna stay out here a little longer and watch the moon. I've got a lot to think about right now.
Okay. Just make sure to get inside if you start feeling cold. Good night.
You too, kid. Good night.
I gave him a short bow and walked quietly away, leaving Nagakura sitting silently under the soft pink of the cherry blossoms. Oh, you two are so silly. Even after I returned to my room, I couldn't manage to get his words out of my mind. Had Kondo really changed so much? Was he no longer the man Nagakura had known in Edo? Surely Kondo had his own private miseries as well. I wasn't in a position to tell either of them what to do, of course. But it was painful to see Nagakura worry so. I suspected he knew what the answer to his dilemma had to be, but accepting was no easy task. What could I do for him? I slept little that night. Thoughts of Nagakura's pained face kept me awake. Oh no.